those back, and we will loosely reattach them here. Okay, before I fully tighten, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my O-ring is not being pinched between the case and the case back. Okay, it looks good, and then we can fully tighten. Great. Again, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, take your bracelet, stainless steel one. Okay, on this one, you want to look for the word Casio. It should be in this orientation. Okay, put it at the 6 o'clock position, turn it over. Take your spring bar. Again, the spring bars are all the same size between the two watches, so it doesn't matter which one you grab. Reinsert them back into the lug. Okay, just gently push inside on one end of the spring bar and then give it a jiggle to make sure it's nicely in place, and repeat for the other side as well. Okay, so reinsert one end of the spring bar, gently push in on the opposite end. Give it a jiggle, make sure it stays in place. All right, so that looks pretty good. We can go ahead and put this one on the display, and that guy's ready to go. Perfect. So now we're going to move on to the opposite watch. This one is going to be so much quicker. So if you guys have made it this far, congrats. You are more than halfway done. We are going to now take our masking here and this watch module. And if we look at our mod, okay, we're now going to be putting the same yellow filter from here into the analog clock and a blue filter here into the top right, or into the bottom right in the shape of an L. So for this one, we don't have to touch this watch module. It's much simpler, again, to work on, so we can set that guy to the side. Let's go ahead and grab our masking here, and we're going to grab our filters again. And again, we're using that 104 Lee's yellow filter, and the blue we're going to be using is, well, this one actually didn't come with a number displayed for the blue, but again, I have it on my receipt, so check the description below for the type of blue we're going to use. So let's go ahead, and just like we did with the opposite watch, we're going to do our tracing for these filters. So we'll take our masking, invert this over. Yellow is going to go over the analog. So we're going to find a nice piece of yellow filter here. Now these filters are pretty delicate, so just make sure you don't have any big wrinkles. There's always going to be a few very small hairline scratches in these filters. They are not perfectly solid if you really get up close and look, but you obviously want to make sure you don't have any big creases. Because the creases will really deflect the light at a different angle, and it will be very visible and won't look as nice on your final product. All right, great. So you guys can see that, right? Right, so we will take our Sharpie. Trace over where we're going to be putting our yellow filter there. Take our scissors, get a piece of cloth that's nice and clean. Cut this guy out. Okay, be careful to avoid touching the Sharpie marks as much as you can. Okay, go ahead and trim away the Sharpie marks. so that looks pretty good. We'll set that guy to the side. And just clean up these guys right here. All right, so now we can go ahead and move to the blue filter. All right, and for the blue filter, we're going to be doing the remainder of the display. So look at here. You can see how there's a big crease right here, right where my thumb is. So I'm going to avoid that area. That probably came from shipping. Okay, set that guy over there. Find a nice clean piece. So that looks like over here. And I will go ahead and do a trace of my filter again with the Sharpie. This one is going to look like the letter L. So that looks pretty good. Again, cut this out. Okay, we can set our filters to the side. Okay, let's take our filter and we can hold it by this edge because we're cutting that part away. And let's trim off the Sharpie again. We got a very few amount of Sharpie marks there, but that's okay. The rest of this can be thrown away. Okay, now we've got our two filters here. Let's test fit these to make sure we have the right size before we do anything further. Because if we don't, then we need to go back to square one here. All right, so that looks good. I just have to trim the corner of one of these so it fits within the masking. Like so. Okay, so that looks great. So now what we can do is clean these guys up. Wipe away with your clean microfiber towel. All right, so that looks great. Set those guys to the side, take our masking, take a brand new Q-tip once again, and we're going to pinch the end of this again. Okay. And get ready to apply our glue. All right, so apply a little bit of glue here. And be going as far to the edge as possible. One end. Two, and then a third. Okay, maybe one more here on the corner. All right, take your other end of the Q-tip that's clean, wipe off any glue that's close to the cutouts, again, because we don't want it to spread too far into there. Great. Go ahead and take your blue filter and insert. Take your toothpick and lightly tap where the glue is. All right, so it looks good. Let's go ahead and move on to our yellow filter. So we'll take some glue again. Okay, wipe off any of the excess. All right, looks good. Take your filter. And take your Q-tip or your toothpick, align it, and gently, gently push down. All right, that looks great. I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes and then we'll come back in. All right, so that's been drying for a while. Let's go ahead and reassemble. We will take our case back here off the AE 1300 and we're gonna put that illuminator here at the top, so that'll be the 12 o'clock position. Okay, take your filter. All right, and go ahead and give that a quick blast of air from behind. And then from in front, support it with your Q-tip if you have that. So like I have it right here, kind of push on the Q-tip from behind and on the other parts as well. Take a look for any fingerprints. Looks good. Take your watch module, do the same thing. We don't have to hard reset that one because we didn't really mess with it. Take your case back. Okay, gently lift up. Quick blast of air. Right. Take your O-ring. Again, this is already factory oiled, so I'm not going to be oiling this one. Okay, find that little tooth here that goes at the 12 o'clock position. lay that on top, inside the trough, pat it down, take your masking, oops, okay, looks good, quick dusting again. Reinsert with the yellow facing the 11 o'clock position. Okay, lightly tap that down. Take your watch module. Okay, again, put that in the right orientation that matches the filter. Put that down. Just like with the other one, we're going to push with our finger and pry towards the middle while applying pressure on these 4 tabs, so that way the watch module sits flat. Take your case back, make sure the word Casio is oriented in this fashion. Casio. Again, 12 o'clock here. Put that down. All right, pinch and hold, support, and let's run through our functions. So we will go through the sound. Good. Timer. Good. And the backlight. Let's close the lights here again. And apologize for the graininess in the dark. And that's how it looks. So the map comes out a little bit dimmer, but everything else shows up a little bit brighter. Okay, backlight looks good. Right, we're going to take our plastic again, put that back over the screen to protect it, turn it over, again 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock here. Make sure our O-ring is seated correctly again. Put the case back there, take your 4 screws, reinsert them just like before. You're in the home stretch here. Okay, lightly screw these in. Again, check the O-ring, make sure it's not being pinched. That's critical for the water resistance to be maintained. Okay, go ahead and fully tighten the screws now. All right, looks good. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock again, we haven't changed. Take your longer of the 2 straps. Okay. And the longer end will go to the 6 o'clock, shorter end to the 12 o'clock. Grab our spring bars. These are 18mm spring bars, by the way. So if you lose them, you can just order them off of Amazon or eBay. Insert one end, push on the other, turn over. Insert one end, push inward on the other. Give both ends a jiggle. That looks pretty good. Let's put this on the display. And I will go ahead and, of course, set the time for Felipe, his time zone, before sending this off to him. He did not mention a bracelet resizing, but I will go ahead and ask him again. And of course, if you would like to resize this bracelet on your own, I have a separate video for that, so check out that video as well. Let's take the protective film off. I'm going to replace these with brand new painter's tape, so I can throw those away. Give these a quick dusting. And let's take a look at our work here. right, so we've got our two mods here. Okay, apologize for the glare, but that's basically these two mods complete. Alright guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you found this pretty clear to understand. I know these are a bit dry, I don't really have background music or really great camera equipment or graphics, so apologize for that, but hopefully I try to be as comprehensive and efficient as possible, even though this is almost a 2-hour long video. But if you have any questions, please mention them down below. These mods are for sale, as well as a few other mods that I'm selling, such as this one over here on the left. Yeah, where's my finger? There we go. That one I'm selling, and a few other ones. Some of these I'm not selling because they're not my design, but I invite you to check out my sales page on Instagram. So it's all lowercase, watch_n as in Nancy _carry_sales, and you can see my full catalog. I believe I have mods A, B, C, and D available for sale. And if you just want to look at my watches and my EDC gear in general, it's the same exact Instagram, except you take off the last underscore and you take off the sales. So it's just @watch_n_carry. All right, guys, thanks so much. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them down in the comments below. And as always, have fun, and I'll see you guys on the next one.